Welcome to Season 2 of the Red Bull MEO Esports Open. I'm your host, Frankie Ward, and this show is all about Brawl Stars. And if you can't tell your Poco from your M.E.O, your Sandy from your Shelly, or your Tick from your Brock, do not panic, because I'm going to be joined by a panel of experts who will have you talking the talk and brawling the walk in no time. And in fact, I'm just gonna throw over to them right now because it's an absolute treat to get to spend these few hours with them because I haven't got to see them in person for a while. So Ark, Trid and Falcone, welcome to Red Bull MEO. Trid, I'll come to you first. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing absolutely amazingly, Frankie. It's great to be back doing MEO again. Didn't get a chance to tackle Brawl Stars last time around, but it's a game I picked up in the last year, so I'm super excited to see what these guys bring.
And Ark, you were actually in Season 1. You unfortunately didn't pick up the W. Team Consti did. You're laughing there. I don't know if it's good laughter or maybe you're a bit sad.
It's taken me an entire year, Frankie, to get over the loss. But nevertheless, back here today for more fun and games. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what these teams bring to the table today.
And we've got a newcomer in Falcone. We've got to welcome him to Red Bull MEO because unfortunately he wasn't part of the party last year. But he's come to spice things up a bit. Falcone, how long have you been playing Brawl Stars for?
I've only been playing Brawl Stars since towards the end of last year, but I absolutely have fallen in love with the game. Like these other guys here, I'm a part of the Supercell Brawl Stars productions, and now we are all here to do some commentary over the MEO. It's going to be some good games, I'm sure.
If you were a brawler, Falcone, what brawler would you be?
If I was a brawler, I would be El-Primo because I'm really strong.
You're a tank.
That's a lie. That's an
You can tell him on camera. Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. Who are you? I think I'm a dynamite. Everyone's laughing at me. No one thinks I'm. And slightly explosive, unpredictable. That's just when I've eaten beans. I'm feeling too much about myself right now, so instead we're just going to move on to the schedule before I just lose it completely, because you know what, quarantine, it's hard on all of us, isn't it? But at least we get to spend some of this time together and get through it together. So coming up on the show, we're going to be showing off 2 of the group stage matches. That's going to be Jupiter versus Stars and AAA versus Wave. Do bear in mind, in this format, we don't lose anyone before playoffs, so don't panic if you're here to cheer for your country, your home nation, because you will get to see them play at some point. And then of course we've got our playoffs, and our number 1 team are going to be taking home a whopping 10,000 euros. It's a pretty impressive prize pool for Brawl Stars Ark.
Yeah, really impressive. And it's always great when there is a decent prize pool to play for, because teams will bring their A game when there's money involved. And that goes a long way. A lot of these players might have YouTube channels and various other things, so they really want to kind of get that most amount of money to invest back into their passion.
Basically, you last year, Ark.
Frankie, when are you going to stop twisting the knife on this guy? Give him a break.
Yeah, you know what? That sounds like the best chance to actually throw to an amazing video from the lovely Freya. She's going to explain all about Brawl Stars if you're new to it or if you're in need of a refresher. So take it away, Freya.
Brawl Stars is a 3v3 MOBA esports title. Here, players can choose between a variety of brawlers, some rarer than others, all with their own unique mechanics, appearance, and stats. Each brawler also has their own super ability, charged up by dealing damage to enemies. There are a variety of different game modes, but here at Red Bull MEO, players will compete across 5: Gem Grab, Brawl Ball, Bounty, Heist, and Siege. Gem Grab sees a gem mine in the middle of the arena, which produces gems every few seconds. The objective for each team is to collect and hold 10 gems between all players. If a player dies, however, they will drop all of their gems, giving the enemy team a chance to pick them up and steal the win. But don't worry, if you die, you'll respawn a few seconds later back in your team's spawn base. In Brawl Ball, a ball will start in the middle of the map, and players must take the ball and score a goal in the other team's nets. Whichever team scores 2 goals first wins. Bounty is where the money's on your head, quite literally, as every player starts off with a 2-star kill bounty. The objective is to have collected the most stars at the end of the match. And when a brawler is killed, the killer's own bounty is then increased by 1 star. This is reset back to 2 if they die. Heist is all about protecting your safe, which each team starts with on full health. If one safe is taken out, the team who destroyed the safe takes the win. However, if the round timer ends and neither safe is destroyed, the team with the highest remaining health take the victory. Finally, the objective of Siege is to destroy the opposing team's home base. However, you must simultaneously defend your own.
Thank you so much for that explainer, Freya. Parents, if you're watching with your kids, just ask them if you've got any questions during the show, because I like the fact that we can all watch this together while we're in quarantine. Right now, though, I'm going to talk you through the format. As I mentioned earlier, we kick off with a round-robin group stage, and no one is going home from the group stage. We split out 8 teams into 2 groups of 4, so all the teams can play each other, and they're playing to determine seeding. So, the number 1 team from Group A will face off against the number 4 team from Group B, and so on and so forth. You get the picture. But how are the matches going to work? Well, it's a best of 5 for each series, but it's not best of 5 in the traditional sense, is it, Falcone?
So it's a best out of 5 sets, but each set is a series of best out of 3 game. So, or as Trid would say.
Oh, I was going to say, for you boomers, it's tennis rules.
There we go.
Spoken by self-professed boomer Trid there. So I think we're going to take a look at one of those group stage matches first, and it's going to be Jupiter from Japan versus Stars, who are our Brazilian team. They chose the maps Gem Grab was going to be Crystal Arcade, Sandy Gems for Heist, Snake Prairie for Bounty, Backyard Bowl for Brawl Ball, and Factory Rush for the newest mode, Siege. So talk me through what we're seeing here, boys. This is the first map mode. This is Gem Grab.
Yeah, so it's on Minecart Madness, and this is one of the more interesting maps available in the pool. If you've noticed already, you can see the minecarts traveling through. That will deal damage to brawlers, so it's something you have to be conscious of on this map and pay extra attention to, while on top of everything else that you'd have to do normally in a match.
Yeah, it looks like Jupiter have got really nice control of this game at the moment, stepping out of the way of the minecart, but they seem to have the center of the map completely under control. Stars are sort of trying to push their way forward, but Jackie just gets eliminated immediately, and they're not finding much leeway here.
It's definitely one of those maps which the pros kind of don't tend to all like, to be completely honest. That minecart does add an element of randomness and RNG, so it's kind of a bit of a funny kind of like thing in the community where when this map does come up, the pros tend to kind of like crease when it comes up.
Yeah, pros aren't too fond of the RNG. And I mean, I'm just having a look at what we got here. The Tara and the Jean, quite standard for this map. I mean, Jackie, I don't think we've seen a lot of in the Brawl Stars Championships so far. Not as consistently, sorry, as Jean and Ems, who seem to just getting so much game time in the last month or so.
Yeah, Jackie's been banned quite frequently, mainly because of the fact that she is a newer brawler. It's kind of one of those things when something new comes into the game that players would like to have more time to kind of get their heads around in that respect. But, you know, she is a very strong brawler, although you don't have to really kind of aim with her. She has got a lot of HP, and that will keep you alive for a longer period of time than most other brawlers.
So this game is looking like it's actually really close, although Jupiter are only 1 gem away from having that full 10. If they can grab it, which it looks like they do, they now just need to get away from that Rosa, and it looks like they've managed to do that.
There's
the minecart takes Rosa out!
Yeah,
oh,
that minecart just absolutely demolishing them. And I mean, this is the thing you're going to notice with the gem grab games, is that once teams hit 10, they're going to end up obviously backing off into this corner and really trying to just play defensively. They don't need to go on the offense, and as you saw there, that's going to be Jupiter picking up the first game. So they pick up 2 more games, then they'll take the map and move further down this series.
Yeah, just it was a really solid game as well. I mean, there was nothing crazy going on there. There were no unnecessarily battles being taken by Jupiter. They just had really good control over the middle, stepped back when they needed to, came back forward to make sure they got the 10 gems first, and then just escaped with them.
So game number 2 coming up real quick, and like adaptations coming in, you can actually see that the side of Stars have tried to mirror the composition, but they've thrown in the Rosa instead of the Jackie. So They're going to hopefully get up close and personal. I don't know Ark about this one, because like Rosa versus Jackie, who's actually going to win in like the head-to-head if it's just mano and mano on that?
It's definitely a close call. I would say for me, the best change was actually changing to that Jean. As you can see there, that pull bringing in those gems. I think the poker wasn't really working for them as a gem carrier. It depends with regards to the Rosa Jackie interaction here, and we see the Rosa popping super. That is going to make a big difference, because that additional shield is going to provide a lot more HP. And then you see Jackie very low on that left-hand side.
And
Yes,
yeah.
So this is looking like a much more successful game for Stars so far, with 5 gems and still quite good control of the battlefield. Make that 6 gems. Jupiter have got some work to do to take this one back.
Yeah, so I think the M's just going to walk forward here, use that area of control to try and buy some damage, just free damage onto the opponent, get that frag. And the thing about this is, like, the Gene's already got that that gem economy. He's just able to sit back, and with the mid control, the rest of the team's exert, and it's really difficult for Jupiter to come back into this one, especially considering that Stars have got the brush to play around as well, so it's very easy for them to maintain the control and just walk away with the victory here.
Absolutely true. I mean, even just having your super as Jean as well, it makes it very scary to push up towards it, because you can basically just pull in a brawler, get some more shots, and cycle to your next super. The Jean pick for me definitely was the tide changer for that game. Poker was not working.
Yep. Jean was out of there, and that goes to show why you want to have one gem carrier with all 10 gems. Your teammates can go slow the opponents down. We saw Ems using the super, which really did slow the other team down, and although the Ems got eliminated in the process, it bought the Jean enough time to escape with all the gems and just take that game away.
Yeah, the deed was done ultimately, and yeah, it's going to tie out, well, not tie out, it's best of 5 on these maps on an individual basis, is it not? So, you know, they've got to get those 3 wins before they can continue to progress. So we're guaranteed to see a 4th map of Minecart Madness coming into this one.
Definitely. No team change. Oh, we actually got Nita appearing here on the right-hand side. That's going to be an interesting interaction. Watch out for her gadget. What that does is that when the Nita bear is in close proximity to the opposition, you can basically activate your gadget. It will provide a shock that will stun your opponent. It's a very strong gadget. Definitely one not to be underestimated in the current meta for sure.
I mean, that's sort of part of like a wider conversation, because, I mean, gadgets are relatively new to the game. Just going back to the Nita example, a lot of these players are comboing the deployment of their bear, Bruce, which is their super, and immediately popping the gadget to get that fast stun rather than relying on Bruce catching up, because it is quite easy to kite or get away from Bruce when he's out on the field. So you want that fast reaction coming out here. And like I was briefly touched on, gems are a new addition to this one, and not gems, sorry, gadgets are a new addition to this one, so a lot of players are still trying to figure out what's working. It has really shifted the power dynamic of a lot of brawlers.
Oh yeah, the meta has entirely changed. I mean, Ark, you'll be the expert at this. I'm nowhere near as proficient as you at Brawl Stars to explain it, but I've been interviewing the players over the last week, and yeah, they were all saying the meta has entirely changed, and it's all because of gadgets.
Absolutely. So that bear being thrown there, just as Trent said would happen there. Gadgets have made brawlers that weren't necessarily meta. Jean, for example, now having that additional ability to knock back opponents, it makes people change the way that they play a brawler and choose to pick that brawler for the comp. So we're going to be seeing a very big difference from what we saw in previous months meta-wise, and definitely seeing some new faces making an appearance which would have perhaps not been so prominent before.
Okay, so I'm going to point out something I just saw that I thought was actually really cool. So the decision there by Madridster to actually go on the Rosa, go aggressive on Milkreo on the Jean, because Jean had super up, right? And if Milkreo on the Rosa can get up close and personal, can force Jean out of range of your 2 gem carriers, one carrying 8, one carrying 2, you can stop him from using his super to pull them out of the safety of the spawn, away from their team, and it actually makes the reclamation of these gems so much easier to do. So by going aggressive with the Rosa, you push him out of range. He now no longer has one of the most important tools of Jean to actually try and save the day for his team. So I love that play at the end there by Madridista to go ahead and force that out.
Yeah, just a very nice, comfortably won game from Stars, and I'm quite impressed because we were thinking after the first game, Jupiter winning so easily, it looked like Jupiter were going to maybe stomp this match, but Stars have made a real comeback here, and it's going to be cool to see how this one progresses.
Yeah, Jupiter are a very strong team as well, but it's worth saying, yeah.
Well, I mean, Jupiter have been representing the APAC region in the Brawl Stars Championship, which is the premier competition that constantly runs. So
they're currently second place in terms of the global leaderboard for Brawl Stars Esports, which is worth noting. They're joint second along with Code Magic Purple. So yeah, Jupiter are one of the top teams out there.
Yeah, absolutely. As Stars, we haven't actually had a look in on that on the slightly larger stage, but there definitely seems to be one to look out for in this competition. And Frank's going to go forward, and there's that gadget from Gene pushing him back and buying some more space. You don't want to allow Frank to get up close and personal on that, because his range and his combo, just relentless attacks, are actually very oppressive. So you want to make sure you're keeping that space at all times. That's something that, as Ark has mentioned earlier, Gene is extremely proficient at.
Yeah.
Oh boy, it was starting to look like they were just going to run that ball in there, but the respawns came out just
in
time.
No! Wow. Okay, so that gadget stun, Bruce the Bear was able to stun Frank, who is this giant hunk of a man, out of his own super. That doesn't come back. That just gets absolutely wiped off in a raise. So great cancellation there. Those small little micro peleys are going to make the world of difference.
Yeah, great cancellation. And one thing to note is that Frank can actually counter the cancellation with his gadget. I believe. I'm still learning actually the mechanics of what Frank can cancel out. But he's got a gadget, he's useless there, which will actually deter any of those shocks. Could be a goal here as well. It is. Nice.
Yeah. It makes him immune to crowd control, so that's things like your stuns or your displacements. Very momentarily, it has a brief window of execution.
Yeah.
And the thing with gadgets are they have finite uses. You only get 3 per round, so you're not going to be able to use them very much. You have to be very calculated when you use them. And because Frank can generate his supers quite often if he's dealing damage, you're not going to be able to rely on that to make sure it goes through. So you want to make your super usage right in front of the goal really important, because it's going to break that terrain and enable an open goal before overtime.
What an amazing gadget used there to cancel out the ball being carried by the Frank there, and that turned that one around. Worth pointing out as well, like brawlers like Ems have got a great gadget for knockback, but Ems and Crow, I believe, they're the only 2 brawlers that can only use their gadget twice in a game. So just something to bear in mind, but definitely look out for Ems on the defense. That gadget can come in very, very crucial in those moments as well.
It's just insane. Gadgets have only been around for, you know, a month or 2, and just seeing the impact that they've had on this game as Stars do take the win. And it was looking like they were going to get 2 goals a couple of times there, if not for the gadget. But still, Stars very comfortably in the lead there. I believe that's the first game in the second set going to them.
Absolutely, they're storming away with this one, Dan. And I love what they did at the end there as well. If you notice, they weren't trying to play for the goal. They had the 1 goal advantage, and it's first to 2 goals in Brawl Ball, or unless the timer runs out.
Yeah.
They held onto the ball and put it into the back left corner. Now,
brilliant.
They're not trying to score. They're just trying to keep it away from the opposing team, knowing that there was finite time on the clock, that if they just keep them away, they're not going to have the time to get possession and get to the goal safely and capitalize on it.
An interesting switch up here. We've got very tanky comps coming in from Jupiter, Rosa and a Primo and a Poker. So they're going with the double tank heal strategy. I wonder whether it will pay off for them. Actually, no, it's actually a mirror comp, I've just realized. Both teams just going with the same comp.
It's an absolute slambulance arc. They're just sending these beefy boys in them and then having the heals come in. And look at that. Perfect CC chain off the back of it. There's nothing they can do. They're all locked up. No opportunity to cancel Frank's super. So they're able to just get an easy goal off the back of it.
Trademark
that
slambulance.
Was just disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Going through everyone. And now the battle for the ball begins again. El Primo sneaking up the rear. Doesn't quite have any impact, as there you go, there's the second goal. Stars take the second set. Oh my goodness.
Very quickly done.
I think that's just the nature of Brawl Ball, though. Like I said, it's first to 2 goals or it's the timer. If those 2 goals come fast, you have incredibly fast rounds, and again, that's Brawl Ball out of the way. So right now, as the series stands, Stars are leading 2-0 in the set.
Oh man, I love Brawl Ball, guys. Like I love playing it, I love watching it, I love how it can just be over just like that, a blink of an eye. Brawl was really fun, but let's move on over to some Bounty, which could be the final set of this first series.
I love this map as well.
Got Canal Grand.
Oh, it's Frank's favorite map from the team as well, and it's got some really interesting sort of playability.
That's Frank the developer, by the way, not the character.
Specify that. Yeah, Frank's
kind
the
of both,
lead.
right?
Yeah, not the
Oh
Brawl.
yeah, it's modeled after him. He's an absolute Chad. Like,
it just really swaps up the gameplay. Like, as you can see, a lot of interaction going from left to right as opposed to up to down, and it does turn the game on its head a little bit. And great start. They got to say from Jupiter 5 stars in the lead already, with a lot of bush placements by Rosa for healing purposes as well. So good start for them.
yeah, that's the combo of Rosa's super and her gadget. The gadget's going to allow her to place those brush, obviously a finite amount of brushes per round, but then her super allows her to passively heal at a higher rate than other brawlers when she's inside brush. So there's good synergy there with her kit.
Yeah, Rosa, definitely terrifying close range. You don't want to be walking into one of the bushes that she's made and find in it. Most teams would typically know where she is on the map, but that Rosa just got eliminated there as only 2 stars ahead, but this time Jupiter in the lead. They might be taking their first game in a little while if things keep up like this. They just want to try and stay safe and stay alive.
So one thing to remember about this is, like, you're not safe unless you have at least a 6-star lead. Purely because if there's 2 stars per brawler, if you haven't got any kills in them, it can swing at minimum by that much if you just like ace the team and get rid of them all. So no one is safe in bounty, because if you just get comboed, that's it. You lose control incredibly fast. So with 15 seconds remaining, stars have got control of the game, and now Jupiter have to go on the offensive.
Yeah,
and they're just going to run away. They don't have to fight. They don't have to fight this. They can just leave. And look at that.
Sandy getting a little bit close there, but Rosa comes in defense. 12-9. Stars do take that one, and yeah, it's just a comfortable win. The thing is about bounty is that we see this quite often. Not that many fights happen. One team gets the lead, and then they just spread out nicely so that the other team can't get a look in, and they just try and defend, and it worked out nicely for Stars there.
I mean, we sometimes see 2-star score lines in these matches where they just get an early kill and then no one does anything for the entire game. So,
or even someone grabs the center star and then everyone just runs away.
Yeah, because you've got to be so conscious of the threat you're putting in, because on a lot of these maps you typically see longer range brawlers because they can deal that damage from further away. But I think these guys wanted to get control of the mid and really hold the dividers, because obviously you can't have full access or full sweep across the map right now because of the canals down the middle. So mid is so important about having that free movement around the map should you need to switch from offense to defense quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really quite odd to see this brawler comp being used by both teams, actually, because you know, a Piper, a Brock, you know, Tick, various other options would be what I would be thinking to go for, but it is working. However, in the last game we saw, like, that ability to be able to run away when you're in the lead could go against either team in those final moments for sure.
Yeah, it's going to push over to the left here, and it's 3 stars in favor of Jupiter. There's that ult from Sandy that's coming in, the super that's coming in, that's going to provide that coverage. Rosa's going to get up close and personal, as we expect to happen quite a lot, and ultimately still Stars in the lead here, so they're so close to just claiming victory in the set altogether. In fact, 45 seconds are going to go ahead and make that difference.
I don't know whether you saw there, but honestly, Stars were very, very low, having just gained that lead by 1 star, and Jupiter being perhaps very passive here and needing to go a bit more on the aggressive miss pull, but again, it is very much the advantage to Jupiter, to Stars, sorry, as Jupiter now trying to pinch from the right-hand side. This could turn quickly if this pinch does work out for them.
But that's the thing about Canal Grand as well. You need to like pincer them on both sides of the canal, otherwise they just rotate around. And so you're ultimately going to have one side that's underpowered. You just punch through the one man, which is what they're doing with the Jackie. It's a good attempt with the super to lock them in and buy time. But you just get overwhelmed because they just punch through the weaker side.
The heal was just slightly too late. There was the right idea. A great Jackie super with that suck for all 3 members of that team, but not quite enough to seal the deal.
I have the absolute pleasure of being joined here by Mustafa and Sebastian, aka I'm Sky, Riz and Anubis, German Brawl Stars team. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me here today. First off, Anubis, I wanted to kind of ask what you guys have been doing to prepare for this tournament.
So we were like scrimming daily and also playing top tier tournaments like the World Cup qualifier for the EU section. And we had also like pretty good placements. So Nova King and we placed top 8. and Skyrix with his team SK Gaming placed under the top 3, I think.
Now, you guys, you won the German Brawl Stars League, you were telling me. What are the kind of differences coming from that tournament into the Red Bull MEO World Finals?
So I guess the larger scale of it, we will face international teams, also probably a bit of delay, and I think the meta will shift, of course. Like just the strength of the teams, that would be a big difficulty for us.
I'm very excited to see that. I'm so excited to see you guys participating this weekend. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me today.
Right now, we're about to meet two teams we haven't seen on the broadcast yet, and they are Clash from our host nation, or would-be host nation, Spain, and Glorious from France. Ark, are you familiar with any of the players on these teams?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, Clash for me gonna be looking to clean up here, I think, and performing very, very well. They compete very frequently, both in LAN and online, and I think that they've got a very good chance of doing well here, despite not being in the live environment.
And what about Glorious? Do you know anything about this team, Falcone? They are a mystery to me.
No, exceptionally little. Like Ark, I mean, Clash is one of the big names of Brawl Stars. Guille, Trevor, and IKEOS are names that, just based on the first couple months of the Brawl Stars monthly finals, we know exceptionally well. Sorry, not France. I know France. The other team is a pretty new team for me. It'll be interesting to see if they can hold their own against Clash.
Well, they were only able to beat Clash from Egypt, not to be confused with Clash from Spain, who they're about to face in Group A. So in other words, my money is not on the French, but as we've just seen from our first quarter final with Dark Horses AAA kicking out the Golden Boys of the competition, the Golden Boys from Brazil Stars, anything can happen. So Falcone and Ark, I'm going to let you do the honours and take us into this next quarter final.
Clash from Spain, Clash from Egypt, Clash Royale. Who knows which Clash this is? Let's get this one started. It's Gem Grab and the Battle of the Pams in the center, going for that first gem. What do you think of these comps, Ark?
I like the comps. The thing for me is Pam mid or Pam lane here. That's the thing with Stone 4. It's kind of a bit of a common debate between whether Pam should be the mid. I play her as mid, but we do hear a lot of arguments that she should be lane because you get that kind of really, really easy spread, and you can just always know on that lane where your opponent is. But Clash doing a good start. 4 gems in the bag. I like the Rico pick as well, and the B pick for me is a solid comp.
That's actually, if I'm not mistaken, that's Glorious with the 4 stars there on the top. So Pam holding onto those with everything she's got up there, being backed up by the B and the Rico. However, Clash have managed to get control of the center. Mr. P with a nice elimination there on Rico. And it's now you can see the gem count turning over because Glorious have been pushed back. They can't get the gems.
Yeah, Glorious now need to, it's been down there and the gems are loose. That could be a great chance. IKEOS, a very smart play there, actually. Just not being greedy, and that is something that we see much more from the pros than we see from the amateurs. That ability to be in more control of your thoughts and less spontaneous in that respect.
Right.
Risk is obviously very much more calculated in the pro scene, and I like the way that he left those, and as you can see now his teammates able to clear up, giving them a really, really good early start with that victory.
Oh yeah, there you go. That is going to be an easy game, easy life from Clash, where, as we were saying at the beginning, it did look like Glorious were getting that edge. Clash just with the positioning, just getting themselves into the center, pushing Glorious back like, yeah, okay, you know what? Those 4 gems, you can keep them. We don't need those 4. We just need the next 10 that come out of the middle. So that worked pretty well.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see many comp changes here. I think that we might see a couple, but I think certainly Clash won't be doing anything just yet. I think they'll be looking to kind of feel out Glorious a bit more, and if they start to see maybe some signs of change on the horizon, they might be thinking a bit more about their comps, or they could go with the complete opposite strategy of just they might just do something different, just to throw Glorious off their pace.
Change their comp wildly each game. I like it. Well, there's BB and Rosa and Poco. Yeah, I mean, this is a very different comp, and it's working so far as Poco runs straight into the middle, grabs the 2 gems, and yeah, there you go. Glorious have once again been pushed back. Tick eliminated, Rico eliminated, only Pam remaining, and it looks like she's not going to last much longer.
Really early mid-control. Great heal by Guille as well, keeping Trevor alive on the left-hand side. I really like that play, and this is just really interesting. It's going to be definitely something to throw off Glorious in terms of their game if they can continue this momentum. Trevor going in again, they're getting those kills, and I really like this comp. I didn't expect it. I did think it would be a viable strategy. Didn't expect Clash to actually go for it, though.
Well, Glorious are really struggling here. Pam did get those 2 gems, but at what cost? As it looks like she does retreat, does get hit by BB's ultimate a little bit there, but does make it all the way back to the spawn. So those 2 gems are safe, but who cares about those 2 gems really? Poco has 8 gems now, just needs 2 more. They're starting to lose control of the center. Super's coming left, right, and center from Glorious. Can they make a comeback here? Oh, not with Pam.
I really like this synergy between Guille and Treble there, and that did enable Treble to get that kill, which gave the gems, which got the countdown, and Clash looking just very comfortable. And if I was Glorious right now, I'd be scared. I would be absolutely terrified, because Clash are just showing that they can change and do things as they like, when they like, and that's always a dangerous thing to see in your opponent.
There you go. That is going to be the first set going to Clash. Clash, who are very renowned in the Brawl Stars esports scene. Everybody that watches knows Clash from Spain. Incredible team. Really great performances so far in the monthly finals. They're currently sitting on, I believe, 5th in the leaderboards for the worldwide rankings. So, you know, that is a team to be respected.
Going into Tornado Ring then once again, and Clash going with a very tanky comp. We didn't see it really work out earlier. We saw range being more favored, so it'll be interesting to see whether they do find a way to make this work, and using that Rosa gadget to generate more bush, I think is a good strategy, which might see this comp working. And look at this, all 3 of Clash right up into the spawn of Glorious.
Yeah, and it gets really interesting now on Heist, because, you know, when you're spawning an Invincible, you can defend the safe pretty well. What are Clash going to be able to do here? They're going to get to deal some damage. It looks like they're staying quite healthy. That BB with the bubble is there defending, but Rosa making her way around the side, dealing quite a bit of damage, and then the BB's super also gets a lot of damage on the safe there. Glorious is really struggling here. They're really just being kept back at the spawn.
I'm loving these BB bubbles from iChaos with the accuracy and precision of that, getting so much value on the safe there. And look at this. I love as well how Clash are just, you know, not going in all at once. They're staggering themselves to keep getting damage, and that is gonna be it. I'm scared right now of this performance from Clash, looking very, very strong and consistent.
Yeah, I mean, that was for a game of Heist, that was fast. That was a fast game. Like, you kind of expect it from Brawl Ball. If that was Brawl Ball, like, maybe you'd expect the game to be that quickly and wouldn't be too scared as a result. But for Heist, that was a very fast victory. Glorious are really going to have to pull their act together if they want to have any chance against Clash as we start the second game of Heist.
It wasn't a safe rush either. That's the other thing, is like, when it's a safe rush, you expect it to be a fast game. Okay. It was very calculated, very methodical, and Clash just didn't go in all at once. It's very easy in Heist to want to get it over with, and all your teammates just go in for the kill, but it's actually a much better strategy to stagger yourselves and try to delay the amount of time it takes for your teammate to respawn and get back up the map there. So we're seeing some brawler changes though as well here, Falcone.
we are, and as you say that, I'm looking at Bruce just hammering away at the safe. So that little brawler change with Nita, it did some work, and the game is over. Just like that, Clash take the set.
Oh my goodness.
It's like, I want to talk about your brawler changes there, but I'm busy watching Bruce kicking some serious butt.
It's gone and over and dusted already with that change to Nita. That Hyper Bear star power in Heist is just so devastating, and I can't even remember the last time I saw Bear with Me being used in Heist. It's just not worth it, and that is the reason why.
Well, there you go. I believe the final remaining set that well, not final set, depends what happens, obviously, but the third set is going to be Bounty. A little bit of foreshadowing there. I think it's clear what I think is about to happen. But we're going to jump into this one, and it's probably going to be some slower paced action here with this Bounty game. we're going to see less fights being taken, but Clash are going to try and take the ones they need to, as Jackie takes out that tick straight away, giving an early lead here to Glorious.
Yeah, but Glorious in the grand scheme of things not looking so full of glory. Definitely need to bring this back now and make some serious changes. That pressure is definitely going to be being felt, and Clash definitely looking to capitalize on that fact now. And Clash are behind on Stars, but I don't think that's going to be lasting for too long, knowing how Guille is playing Piper.
Yeah, just look at the let's watch for the accuracy on the Piper here as Brock just going in and taking on that Rosa, knowing that, yeah, Rosa might be the close range brawler, but I've got the damage. I'm going to get the job done. Clash gets the first few stars there, but they need some more. Tick doing some work at the side, but it's not quite enough. Clash do need to put the work in. They just need to get a couple of eliminations to get themselves back on top.
Yeah, this is a really, really strong position for Clash to be in. Yeah, they need to hold this form, and that Jackie pick is going to try to push back Trevor on that left-hand side for sure. That is a wise strategy, but the snipe from Guille as well. If they can just get some kills here in this middle section, I think they're going to. The Rose is so weak, does go down, and now only 1 star away, 1 kill away for Clash to be able to take the lead here.
Oh, the Rosa with the invincibility blocking the Piper attack there, saving the Poco. Amazing. Clash need to push now, or they will drop their first game of this match. But Jackie getting really weak there. Jackie goes down. Then Rosa takes down Tick. Glorious are going to take their first game of this match. And that was an amazing photo finish.
You're telling me? My goodness me. I kind of felt, though, to be honest, that if Clash had just decided to focus on the right-hand side on that Rosa instead of where they were going for in the spawn, if everyone just decided to focus on the Rosa, I think they would have got that kill and been able to retreat. They didn't go for it. It changed hands so incredibly quickly.
Yeah.
I could barely keep up, but Glorious hanging on by the skin of their teeth.
Full-on mirror comp here, Arc, by the looks of things. So interesting how that's being changed up. No more Rosas in sight. Maybe I was wrong about this being the final game type that we're going to see in this match. We're about to find out. As the battle in the middle, Clash doing well. They've got the first star. They've got an elimination on the Brock, and now they just need to play it safe.
Yeah, for me, this is a solid, stable comp. You know, you can mix things up, but more often than not, you get that great crowd control from the Tick. The long range snipes from the Piper, and look at this, like absolute spawn domination from Clash. 7 stars in the bank.
It was the way that Clash just herded all of the members of Glorious together into that one corner so that Tick could really get that work done. 7-star lead. I mean, all Clash need to do now is back away slowly, but it looks like they are so confident about this game. They're going to fight. Piper gets away with the super there. Another elimination from Clash on the Brock. Another elimination from Clash taking out the Piper. And now they just seem unstoppable, Ark.
Yeah, Clash are basically saying, oh, you want a mirror comp? Oh, that's cute. Yeah, well, you know, this is going to come down to skill. I hope you realize that. And 16 stars later to 3, and definitely displaying that they are more in control of this mirror comp scenario that we're seeing unfolding. And they just did a great job of taking mid control early on, forcing back Glorious into their spawn, and pretty much the game was over for me, at least then, but there's still much more to go with 15 seconds left. It can change. I don't think it's going to, though.
DA's accuracy, Arc. Those last few Piper shots were just flawless. Amazing. It does get eliminated eventually, but the score is 21-10. There is no coming back from Glorious, and now Clash take their first game of this set. Evening the score, it's 1-1 in a best out of 3 set. So this is potentially match point.
Yeah, match point now then, and you know, I think the Glorious are going to be feeling that. I mean, they were just getting back a rhythm, some momentum, some hope, and Clash just really came and shunned that down really quickly now. And I think, yeah, we're going to go back to a more tankier brawler comp with Jackie and Rosa for Glorious, and I'm not too sure about that. I think that Clash, if they can break up the map, could be using a lot of range to their advantage here.
Absolutely. that's what they're going to be aiming to do, and it's not been the best start. Obviously down by 1 star, but it doesn't matter as the Brock again takes out the Rosa. iChaos has been pretty consistent in doing that, just knowing what the health breakpoints are, knowing when it is safe to get in and get close to that Rosa and take her out. And now they are leading by 1 star, and that is all it takes in a game of Bounty. They just need to play it safe. Jackie going for it, but not quite getting the damage in. And that Piper, again, Gie with the accurate Piper shots, just getting that damage in. And that Jackie does go down eventually to one of the tick block bombs.
Yeah, great pinch work there from Clash on that left-hand side between Gie and Treble. And again, with that takedown on the Poco. And that's what I love to see, is teams working together as a unit and not trying to rush. But actually, that goes down Treble. Only giving now a 1-star lead to Clash, so a bit less of a cushioning now. This could turn around maybe in the final seconds. Need to be a bit more cautious, I think, going into these final 30 seconds of this game.
Well, here we go. This could be it. Glorious need to find a way to get 1 star back in order to prolong this series, or it is going to be the end for them, as Poco just uses that tree to defend himself against Piper, but still the shots come in. Rose has had enough. She's going for it. Can't decide whether she's running for Piper or Brock, and eventually does just fall. And it looks like the writing is on the wall. Arc. Jackie goes down as well. 13-5. It's going to be a match point for Clash.
It was like an all or nothing thing, and just Clash very, very dominant. Glorious couldn't really do much about it.
Do you think, Ark, that was the best performance as an overall team in terms of composition and communication that we've seen so far here at Red Bull MEO?
I would go as far as to say it's probably, yeah. There was so much interaction between 2 players from Clash, focusing on 1 player on the opposition, and more often than not, that really restricts the movement. It more often than not ends in the kill, and by doing that, as they go around, they can just keep taking people down. And yeah, that was, I think, for me, a lot to do with the reasons why that was such a successful match for them.
We're going to head into this clash, this quarterfinal, with Falcone and Trid.
All right, here we go. First game of the match, and Nova straight away with B, picking up 2 gems and gonna retreat straight back. They need to get some mid control there, as Skyrix and the other teammate are just taking the lanes. But B, they're nicely picking up a 4th gem and keeping control of this center.
Yeah, it's so difficult, I think, for this team, Clash Egypt, to actually get a look in here. By controlling all 3 lanes and moving up simultaneously, it's really hard to get the flank and break through this oppressive mid-control.
Little reminder of just how powerful B is when you've got that supercharged hit, taking out more than half of Mr. P's health in a single strike there. They are having to retreat, but already with 7 gems, Wave are happy. They've got the time to sort of recoup, and you know what? It didn't take long. Just, yep, gonna nip in, grab the 8th. Can I get the 9th? Oh, it's getting a little bit risky now.
Should be able to walk in here with this one. Instead, Skyrix going to commit it. He's going to find that final gem off the back end of that. So they've got 10 right now. Keeping King alive will keep them in this game.
Yeah, and they're just gently retreating to the spawn. There's really not that much that Clash can do when they're this far back, because even if they do start knocking out the players, they'll just respawn and be invincible. So that is going to be a very comfortable victory there for Wave. That B was able to just completely get control of the gem area, and there was really no coming back from Clash.
Yeah, like I said, it all came down to the flank control. Just by having that simultaneous line of attrition, they were able to move up into the center, with B entirely being enabled by the brawlers on the outside of the map. We're going to jump into game number 2, though.
Yep, and it looks like Wave just have range on their side. Like Pam is very much close range brawler, very much support, can't do all that much from a distance, so this B is just going to bully Pam there, and yep, does take her out with Jean's support on the right side. And it's just the same old story again, Trid. It's the B controlling the center, just getting all those gems.
Well, that's the biggest problem with this competition, Dan. It's just, if you don't get that early control, it's very difficult to retake that or aggress with Pam. Once Pam gets set up in the right location, you're going to have such an easy time defending that. And it's just not being allowed to happen by Wave. They're expending that healing station on the right-hand side outside of the mid. It's a forward position they can operate from, and they're going to turn it into a gem completion here. But no, they don't even get the kill. Actually, I can't believe it. That's a 1 HP getaway.
Amazing. And now it's going to be countdown time again. It's going to be retreating back. We can't get a good look of what's going on with Wave right now, but I think we can imagine what is happening as they push their way back to the spawn, and it looks like Clash are just struggling to get a hold of any of those gems.
Even the observer was stunned in disbelief by that 1 HP getaway that we saw there just on the bottom right-hand corner. Really well played there. I believe it was Nova King who got away with that. I genuinely thought he was going to go down. Just did not happen in this instance. So immediately, I guess that's Wave taking the first map.
All right, jumping into Heist. It's going to be Brock, BB, and Nita on the bottom, pushing up the map. Can Wave do it again nice and quickly? We will soon find out. The battle begins there with Max on the left. Pam missing some shots, but Brock getting that first hit on Pam. Spike on the right is firing, but just takes more damage than dishes out. And Skyrix is pushing all the way straight up to that safe.
Yeah, that's exactly what he needs to do, though. Get in Spike's face, shut him down, and look at all the space he's created for his team. It means that Nova King could walk forward on a Brock and use that rocket rain to get that big chunk of damage on the safe, dropping it down to 69%.
Nita also doing some serious work on the left there, just holding out until the teammates arrive. BB super hitting the safe multiple times, and the bear goes nuts!
Yeah, this is absolutely dire for Clash Egypt. They've got zero control of this map right now, Falcone, so that's going to be the first game going over to Wave.
Yeah, a really nice performance from Wave. Not quite as quick with the insane bear as the one that we saw from the previous match, but still, that was very devastating. And again, lowercase Clash is going to have some serious work to do in order to catch up from this.
And we're going to jump into game number 2. Adaptations. Maybe you should come in. Not a massive fan of the Spike pick on this one, based up against what they're going against. But it's the adaptations on the side of Wave. They're bringing, keeping exactly the same. Looking at Clash Egypt, they brought in the Penny instead of that Spike.
Penny's super interesting in a game type like this because of the way that the sort of AoE hit works. You know, if they're by the safe, then you can generally hit the brawlers and the safe at the same time. But there you go, elimination Nita on Nita action there on the left with Wave getting the damage in, a BB at the safe again.
It's going to be easy for them to pick up some extra damage here. I love the bounce that comes in from the bubble with BB in the spawn room, because you can bounce off the backboard in the terrain. Now that that's been blown up, won't have that option and won't maybe get as many bounces back on the safe, but it doesn't matter. They've got territorial control again.
Yeah, BB is just wailing away with that sword on the safe and on Nita. And the safe is down already thanks to a lot of help from Brock on the right-hand side. That is going to be game and set to Wave. We are on the potentially the final set of this match. We just tend to be seeing in these Brawl Stars matches at the moment, there is one dominant team. I'll tell you, Trent, I cannot wait to see the later games, to see the final, where hopefully it won't quite be so one-sided.
Absolutely, jumping into layer cake now off the map, and pretty meta composition for Wave. They've got the Brock, the Piper, and the Tick. And then we're moving over to see what looks like the bow, which I'm absolutely fine with, right? This is how you should be utilizing bow. Combo with someone like Brock, who can get his Rocket Rain online fast and destroy enemy cover, which allows you to control from safety. But then again, you also need to get control of the stars. So if you don't do that, then you're just going to fall apart. And that's exactly what we're seeing here right now. Wave 7-0 in the lead currently.
Yeah, I mean, that start just speaks for itself, doesn't it? The star counts there. As long as Wave don't play stupid now, don't allow the other team to completely wipe them out, they are not going to be taken down. And unfortunately for lowercase Clash, they are having to try and make the aggressive plays. They are having to push, and that puts them in the delicate position that Wave can just take advantage of.
Need to be careful of that one, because if they can't get out the spawn room, they've got no chance of getting anything done here, especially with the range that's being brought by this Wave lineup.
They've got to push forward. They've got to keep going, but it's not working out. So much damage being taken by lowercase Clash, and still Piper pushes forwards, gets the damage in on Bo, just about misses. But There's so much work still for Clash to do. Bo taking even more damage. Brock dishing it out so quickly. Other Brock trying to come through on the right side, but just gets pushed back again. It's not happening.
It's pure desperation from the side of Clash Egypt right now. They're struggling. They have to get some stars on the board. They're unable to do so. Even Nova King, point blank range. It takes 2 members of Clash Egypt to kill him.
Yeah, and 16 against 3. That is too many stars for Clash to be able to get. Even if they wipe the team, it is just not going to do it. And that is going to be the first game of this set going to Wave. And you know what that means, Trid? That means we're on match point.
Match point incredibly fast as well. They're sensing a pattern in the tournament, Dan, where these games are going incredibly quick and seem to be one-sided. But this could well be the final game of this set and deciding who's going to go over into those semi-finals. And I've got to say, I'm really liking the looks of that being Wave right now. I just don't see how Clash Egypt come back into this.
I think you'd be a little bit silly if you were thinking that Clash were going to take this match with the amount of work they've got to do, though it has been done before reverses from this position. We've got a very slow fight to begin with, but again, the range available for Wave. Piper, Tick, Brock just throwing out damage, not letting Clash get any leeway whatsoever. The star has been picked up. They just need to play defense now.
See, the thing about the early star pickup, Falcone, is that you can get that 1 star, but because everyone's worth 2 when you kill them,
right?
It's not a definitive lead because sometimes the risk isn't worth the reward because dying when trying to get the star is not worth it. So that's why a lot of teams play passively. They have to make sure it's the right time to do it. Because Wave have been so dominant, they're just able to walk in and they're not afraid of Clash Egypt.
No, they were able to create this opening. They went in and grabbed it, and now they're pushing back. Brock does get eliminated on the Clash's side by the other Brock, and now it looks like they're being a little bit more aggressive, Wave, with Brock using that super, getting some damage in. Again, they're just creating no space whatsoever for Clash to close that gap. It's
what
not
a predicament they find themselves in, Falcone. It's only 1 star. It's not that much of a difference. Then you donate your life, and well, guess what? Now it's 3 stars. Try again, you fail again, 5 stars. Keep adding up the total, keep adding up the bill that needs to be paid at some point. And 24 seconds remaining. I don't think it's going to be happening.
Oh, it just goes from bad to worse as Brock gets another elimination. 15 seconds, 7 stars. The head first is not good enough against a team this competent who saves the ammo, who eliminates the head. On the other side of things, though, okay, yeah, it does. The head does get eliminated too, but who cares at this point? That is going to be game, set, and match to Wave, and what a match it was.
Well, the Germans, they're living up to their countrywide reputation of being ruthlessly efficient, and unfortunately that means we do have to say goodbye to my favourite team name in the whole tournament, lowercase Clash. Thank you so much to them for representing Egypt. And as I said about one of the teams earlier, we hope that we'll see you very, very soon, maybe in Red Bull MEO Season 3, and it's such a big deal to make it this far and represent your country on a global level as well. But in terms of Wave, my goodness, they were a bit ruthless with that map control, weren't they, Trid?
Absolutely. As soon as they got that initial control, whichever map they played on, they just didn't relinquish it. And it was particularly brutal for Clash Egypt because they were relying on compositions that needed that early control. So they never got their foot through the door and they didn't have the means to retake. And as the series went on, we weren't seeing much adaptation to try and correct that. So it just snowballed out of hand in favor of Wave.
Let us jump straight into this match. So I'm going to be quiet because I am not an expert and you guys are. We're very lucky to have you. So let's see what happens in our final quarterfinal.
Expert is a title I really like to bestow upon myself and will avoid it at all costs, but it's Invictus versus Jupiter in our final quarter-final of the event arc, and there's that Pam pick again in the mid.
Yeah, Pam mid again. It can be used on either mid or lane for me. I like the way as well that we saw the Jackie getting very quickly into the mid in that very early stages. That's going to play a big role here in keeping that Shelly for Invictus out.
You ever see a cat jump in a cardboard box arc? That's exactly what the Jackie's doing right now. It's protection. It's safety as they're lying in that corner. So when these teams are trying to encroach into that center territory near the gems border, they're just getting absolutely blasted by damage.
Yeah, absolutely. Look out, though, because Shelly's now got Super N. If I were that player, I'd be looking to break some of this cover, break some of these walls, and do it in a way. Probably around now, here we go, and does not actually work out. Not enough team support during that motion there.
Also, the wrong cover to break. Surely you'd want to break the cover that's not going to assist your aggression. It's the one that's going to assist your opponent's aggression. And right now, that Pam's sitting on 10 gems arc. The countdown's begun. There's not enough gems in play for them to try and retake. They have to go for the kills.
Yeah, Jupiter now going to be feeling really nicely confident as there's only one brawler on the Invictus team there on the left side. Comfortably done for me. Be interesting to see now whether Jupiter can kind of continue this momentum and whether they'll switch anything up. It's always interesting on the first game to see whether what that first team does. Do they keep it? Do they change it? We'll have to see.
We talked a little bit, like I mentioned, the Frankie, the psychological element of having to constantly adapt and not see results is a bit of a drain on these players. We're going to jump into game number 2, see if those adaptations have already begun or whether they can persevere with their own composition. I'm seeing some changes across the board for the side of Invictus. There's a Poco, there's a Rosa, and a Jackie as well. So very different to what we saw on that first map.
Yep, the Invictus Jackie very quickly again to get into the center. Forced out now. Rosa, though, with that gadget, that ability to create and generate those bushes, I feel that's going to be a really, really good asset for Invictus and could put a lot of aggression and pressure towards Jupiter there. But the Jupiter are doing a good job, though, however, of holding mid-control, and that's what this game mode, this map, is all about.
A lot of pressure being exerted there by the Jackie on the side of Jupiter. It bought time for M.E.O and Pam to grab control of those gems in the center. They're sitting on 5 right now, the 7 available, so definitely in their favor right now. Poco gonna use that heal, commit it over to Jackie, make sure that they're staying nice and healthy on the right hand side. There was the M's disengage with the super comboed onto it as well. Ultimate levels of control to get that kill, and now the aggression comes out from Jupiter. They get the retake of mid, they get control of all of the gems, and now they start the countdown. Well, look at Savvy in the back left corner. He's isolated from the rest of the team. If they keep him pinned in that location, it's going to be so hard. He has to commit here with the super. He's been locked down early by Jupiter, and he finds no value with his own super. 1 second remaining. That's gem grab. Got him in the way of Jupiter.
Done, dusted, over. Very, very strong early performance then from Jupiter, and they got to continue it forwards. So, we'll see different game modes to come as to whether Invictus can kind of come back from this. But not a good start for them, it's fair to say.
Not the best. No, I can agree with that sentiment, indeed.
Yeah.
As we move on to our second map type, we're heading over to Heist, and we've seen a lot of Nita being played so far in this tournament, particularly on this map, and significantly absent on the side of Jupiter, but if my eyes do not deceive me, Invictus are opting to go for it as well.
Well, I mean, hyper bear. I mean, that's the word on everyone's teeth right now. And
the talk of the town,
I should say.
Hyper bear. He's just trotting down the street right now, missed the hot stepper, and finding his way to the Heist stage. But he's not found connection so far. In fact, he's being called back to play defense right now because we're already at 50% HP for the side of Invictus is safe.
Barely any time has passed, and already that is quite a considerable amount of damage being dealt. And gotta say, my money here already is on Jupiter, despite the pick of Nita. It does seem like the M's pick there is doing a good job of taking that down, and I think this could be all over right now as Jupiter pushing up really much so on Invictus. I don't know, this looks done and dusted to me.
It's absolutely done and dusted, Ark. The M's pick is such a great counter for Bruce. You can kite him away so easily when he goes on the hunt for you, especially if you've got your super. This absolutely dismantles that melee range super that's available. That's first map going over to Jupiter, and their path of domination just keeps on trucking.
Yeah, and I don't think, to be honest, there was really anything too much wrong with the Invictus composition. It wasn't really, to be honest, anything that was like dreadfully wrong. I think that Jupiter are just playing very, very well, and now they've got to up their pace. They've got to do something because they don't really want to lose this second set, and if they lose this next game, they're going to.
Okay, more adaptations coming around. Mr. P being brought to the table inside of Jupiter, but they're whipping out the Nita this time. They want some of that Hyper Bear action to jump in here as well. And the Bear's still going to be present on the side of Invictus. They've got that Daryl, and they've brought an M's of their own as well, hoping to balance the scales.
Oh, who doesn't want a bit of Hyper Bear action? It's so satisfying to see Bruce just go at that safe. But gotta say, bit of surprised to see Mr. P, although it is good that Super will locate the opposition regardless to being hidden in a bush. So I can't understand why, and it's just the amount of damage output for me that's just a little bit on the low side with Mr. P. But there's the Bruce Bear, Hyper Bear going in, but not too much damage. It was shut down pretty quickly actually by Invictus. So.
I think not the most optimal timing for Ponkotsu right there.
Yeah.
Nearly was, you could see him toying. He was entertaining the idea for such a long time, and then I think the Daryl engagement came in and maybe forced his hand, which is a good initiative by Invictus to make that happen. The Bear's going to be deployed again, but it's an easy pickup for the side of Invictus. But it doesn't change the fact that all the pressure is in favor of Jupiter, and they're getting 3 damage right now, and Invictus has not seen Jupiter's half of the map ever.
That is a lot of damage that just went down then on that safe. And there is still one gadget, I believe, in the hands of the M's for that knockback.
There's the Bear.
It's done. Yeah. As quickly as that. Jupiter now then, going into this this third set, have got to feel in a good place about this.
I think Heist is in the rotation right now, like at this very moment of time of recording. I think I need to actually start playing Nita in Heist. And just I just don't usually do it. I feel like it's something that needs to be brought to the party right now because I've just seen a lot of domination from multiple teams when it comes to using Bruce with the Hyper Bear star power. Map number 3, we're going over to Layer Cake, so it's moving over to Bounty, and most of the teams have been fairly standardized here with the compositions we're seeing. We're going to see a lot of, usually it's Tick, Tick, Piper, and Brock is often what we've seen, but we're actually seeing on the side of Jupiter, Poco, Jackie, and BB.
Yeah, I mean, Poco, for me, I don't know. But I've seen, this is what I was saying earlier about Jupiter's kind of like approach to the meta and comps. And I mean, look at this already. This sport pinch is disgusting there. Oh my goodness me. 5 stars in less than 5 milliseconds, and I'm not sure whether it's connection issues or something.
There's definitely connection issues here.
Yeah, Jupiter, regardless, showing no mercy whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm not. I have to consult the rule book at some point here. Ark, I don't know if this will be a replay because it seems like this is very one-sided right now.
You think?
Yeah, it's just incredibly one-sided. I'm actually surprised to see. I think everyone's got control of their brawlers right now. Everyone's moving around again, but there's a 25-star lead. That's, going to be difficult to come back from, to say the least.
Yeah, I feel like Jupiter would probably be like, well, I don't know about this. I mean, I felt like it was a pretty it wasn't necessarily one-sided as far as we saw it. I mean, we were just, quite under pressure, we felt really ourselves, but yeah, they're not showing any mercy here, and I'd be in the same position.
Why would you?
I'd be the same. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Why would you? There's no need to. And yeah, I often what we see is that there's no rulings around lag and connections because it's obviously on the players. So there's no responsibility that can be taken other than the players themselves. 43 stars.
But there's a reason. There's a reason why in boxing, someone can throw in the towel, right, and call it off. I'm hoping there's like a virtual towel they could throw in right now, and maybe get a little bit of mercy because that's a 49-0 score line. That's technically is the first game. I want to see if we're going to get any more replay or if there's a replay of that particular map. I'm sure we'll find out because if Jupiter win the next game and then they don't end the series, then it's clear that was a replay. But I want to see what the ruling actually is because it's sometimes it's very much up to admin discretion and there's a lot of factors that go into that decision making. Okay, so I've just got confirmation from production that that game did in fact count. So it does mean we are at Jupiter to win this, and then they can take away their spot and get themselves a spot at the semi-finals.
You got to be asking yourselves if you're Invictus, like, you know, they surely after that moment have already kind of submitted to the
tower's been thrown.
Say.
We've already covered this arc. The tower has been thrown. If it exists,
no,
it's on the map.
I mean, sometimes a team, you know, will kind of feel like it was actually not supposed to be their map, and they'll kind of shut down, and that's why you should always, regardless, just try to carry on. But yeah, for me, Jupiter now going to absolutely be looking to tie this up quickly, and we are seeing a great little pinch going on this left-hand side with the Piper and the Tick forcing back that Primo for Invictus, and you know, they're going to want to get a semi-decent lead still, so they're not, you know, taking this game too lightly. But they are going to want to get a couple more stars than just the one lead for me.
Yeah, a 1-star lead is not substantial at all, and they've got the composition to pull it off. They just keep the rest of Invictus at arm's length. BB getting in close is exactly what they need to do, but that protective shield is now cracked and crumbled away, and it's so easy to pick off if 3 members are going to focus on one target. Just like that, everyone's collapsing. So, plus side, they got out of their spawn. Negative side, they gave up another 6 stars.
Yeah, I would say the exchange was not quite balanced in that respect. Yeah, I've got to hand it to Jupiter here. Really, really nice defense, especially when you're, you know, on the retreat. It's very difficult to kind of keep in control of that and not just all have a team wipe happen. And they did really well to fight back and to keep the Primo at bay. And now it's just, you know, what we're seeing here is Invictus not pushing as a team on bounty on this particular map. Like, that's a really bad strategy for me. That's going to end in tears.
Yeah, but it's also Jupiter has all the supers online, basically. They could just have complete control of the game. Primo's getting absolutely bodied. The rest of Jupiter, they've oiled themselves up. They've jumped off the top rope and dropped a supreme elbow drop onto El Primo and the rest of Invictus. A 3-0 stomp. Jupiter are going over to the semi-finals.
Well, congratulations to Jupiter. Boys, do you think that's probably the only time in competitive Brawl Stars history that we've seen a bounty where it's ended up 49 stars to none?
To my recollection, yeah, but Ark's a little bit more encyclopedic than I am. He might be able to reference something even more ridiculous than that.
Yeah, nothing that springs to mind as being, oh, that time when. But, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, we've seen stranger things happen. And sometimes, yeah, it can just be like just an absolute annihilation. And yeah, when it does happen, it's kind of like, oh, that time when.
Well, I think annihilation is definitely the word.
One special thank you we'd like to give is to paysafecard. Not only did they get involved in M.E.O national events in Austria, Italy, Greece, Germany and Spain, but they are giving €1,000 prize money to each of our 3 winners across all 3 titles. PaySafeCard allows you to shop online safely and securely. For more info, head to paysafecard.com.
What we're going to do is we're going to go straight into this semi-final because I don't want to keep you guys waiting any longer. So take it away, Falcone and Ark.
All right, here we go. Semi-final number 1. And it's going to be Clash versus AAA. I do it right, Ark?
I like the accentuation there on the uppercase Clash, Falcone, and please keep that up.
Oh, I will. I intend to. As Clash have got a very nice lead here with 3 stars already. They are able to just go and play defensive. It is up to AAA to get those eliminations and get some stars back, but Clash are not going to make that easy.
No, not at all. I actually quite like the Mr. P here on this particular map. It serves quite well to get that super down early, to seek out the opposition wherever they may hide, and you know, yeah, it does go a long way to think through your strategy with regards to comp, and you know, it's going to come down to skill ultimately with this mirror comp. But you know, we've seen, you know, Clash earlier on in this competition, you know, mix that up and keep the opposition on their toes. Nice super going down there as well. 5 stars already in the hands of Clash.
Yep, that is a very dominating position to be in. We're now looking at least 2 eliminations required. Oh, there we go. That's now 7 stars as Mr. P takes out Mr. P. The head first comes down. And that looked like it was almost going to take out Mr. P, but the Suitcase was able to take it down. 7 stars still to go, and Clash really not allowing AAA to make any progress down this map.
Yeah, the way that Clash has shaped the map as well, I think, is worth noting, and taking down that area of bush with that Brock super as well, and there's another star goes in the bank. 11 stars now to nothing. Not even the middle star in the hands of AAA right now. Yeah, shaping the map, shaping the terrain makes a big difference in terms of how teams can control. Nice jump from Guy Chaos as well there, using that gadget. But wow, what a dominating performance from Clash.
15-0, and Clash are going to get the first game of this match. I hope you don't think that's going to get old anytime soon, because it's not stopping. AAA, the Clash are clearly the favourites to win this match, Ark. Do you think AAA have any sort of chance here?
Oh, there's absolutely always a chance for me. Yeah, I mean, things can still change, and you know, it's far from over in that respect. You know, I think that, yeah, Clash probably coming in arguably is the favorite here. Probably from my perspective as well, as we say, Mortis. Are my eyes deceiving me? Wow, okay, AAA have just gone with a Mortis after losing the first game. I don't know about that. What do you think about that?
We saw AAA, I believe, playing Mortis back in the group stages, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's just a favourite pick of theirs. Mortis goes in, misses the Mr. P, and then sort of just flails about before getting eliminated. No real progress being made. In fact, Clash just have even more stars now. Or maybe this time? No.
I mean, you know, Mortis is not a bad brawler. I think that's a common misconception in the community, that you know, he's too high skill to play, or that he's kind of bad. He is a viable option. I just don't know whether it's a safe option in that respect. It's for competitive, it is a bit of a risk, and that's why I don't know whether I bring it out at this stage myself, having just taken that loss. It's more for me of a kind of first game pick.
I guess it's almost a Hail Mary. It's like, okay, we've lost the first game. Let's try something dramatically different, try and catch the other team off guard. And here we go, Mortis making the plays here, but he's completely on his own. And Clash are fully aware of what he's doing, and Mortis sort of having to retreat now. The rest of the team coming in, but Rosa gets eliminated quite easily. Mortis does get an elim there, but it's not going to be... Wait, it is going to be enough. I'm sorry.
It is going to be just enough. I can't believe quite that actually has given the lead to AAA, who might even now, with another takedown, be able to survive the next 10 seconds to equalize this one out.
Well, there's a big push coming from Brock and Mr. P, but a lot of work needed. At least one elimination on the Mortis. Mortis takes down Mr. P, and AAA are going to win the game 19-12. You know what, Ark? They are here to show they've got some fight left in them, and this is not going to be a stomp like what we've been seeing so far tonight.
I feel like I'm about to eat my words. I mean, that kind of actually worked out okay. It's, again, it's that risk element for me. It's they're going to go with the Mortis pick again, it seems, I think. I don't know, possibly, maybe. I would probably, if I was in their position, and yeah, I think they are going to be going with that Mortis pick again. And I mean... It's just that it happened very, very late on in the game, and I don't know whether, for me, I want to risk it all on a brawler, which is going to be being played for the entirety of that game, on a final moment kill, you know, personally.
Well, it's going to be set point either way now, Ark, and well, AAA do have that 1-star advantage. They did manage to get away with it, but Clash have pushed them all the way back to their spawn. The Rosa fight was real, as they both have very similar health totals, but Clash was able to get an elimination there and are retreating to the center of the map. They've now got all of the bush protecting them, so it's going to be very hard for AAA to find the correct place to push here.
Yeah, and this is the thing with Clash, is that they show always a good sign of awareness, or of mixing things up and changing things. And as soon as the Mortis pick worked out well for AAA, they decided to go with the Rosa instead of the Tick. And I think that, for me, is a good decision to make. And, you know, more often than not, if you make a brawler decision that works out well, you're going to continue that kind of like pattern of play. And, you know, Clash were obviously banking on that. And I feel like that change could well go into their favor here.
6 versus 1 now as Clash are quite nicely, comfortably sitting in the center. Rosa makes a push, but does get pushed all the way back herself by Mr. P. Can they get the elimination off on her? Mr. P almost does. Brock misses 2 shots as well, and it looks like the Rosa survives. Meanwhile, Mortis pushes through the center of the map, but there's not all that much that he can do. He's trying to recover some health as Rosa comes into support. Maybe they get the elimination here, but no, the other Rosa puts up the super, and it looks like Clash are quite safe. With only 10 seconds to go, things were looking like they might be about to turn around, but now Clash have, well, they've sorted this game out, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's so little really, even playing Mortis in that respect, they could do. All of Clash had full health. It was always going to be a one-sided thing in that particular comp versus comp situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to get the positioning with Mortis, which is something the AAA were sort of able to achieve in that last game, but the other thing is actually being able to get the damage in and actually dealing it to the correct brawler. It wasn't quite going to work out for them, but they did get one game in that set. Let's take a look at set number 2, which is going to be Siege, I think for the first time tonight, and let's see if AAA can pull this one off.
Yeah, Clash doing a great job of taking that first set. It's going to give them a boost, give them a lift, and they do like Siege. We've seen Clash do some incredible things in Siege, coming back under a lot of pressure in Siege as well. It's for what I've seen and witnessed in competitive with them playing in Siege, probably one of their better game modes, I would say. So definitely a good position to find themselves in going in ahead.
So, Ark, we see AAA got the first Siege bot, and is that fine for Clash? Like, is that kind of maybe a strategy sometimes to let the other team get the first bot while you have a little bit of a bolt advantage for the second one so that you can get a huge bot to fight back? Or is the game plan purely just get as many bolts and bank them as possible?
Yeah, it can be a bit of a strategy. It's not certainly the end of the world. I mean, getting those 3 bolts, which they did bank in that previous round, does go away. And here they're probably going to go for, a full control for the next 15 seconds to add to that 3. So, it definitely gives them a bit more of an advantage. Trevor's going to be using super here to break that wall in advance of that push as well. So this could be a very, very strong push for Clash. Absolutely so.
A level 9 Siege bot. It's going to take AAA a lot of work to put a stop to this. Let's take a look at how much Clash the brawlers themselves can push as well, as they're going to get that little bit of healing from Pam's super. And here we go. Siege bot getting really weak though, and yeah, Clash sitting back. They're going to just focus on getting bolts and make sure that they get the next Siege bot. And it looks like whoever gets the next Siege bot is probably just going to win this game.
This is exactly it, why the first round doesn't really matter too much in that respect. Obviously it does, but if you're able to regain control in the second round, but now Clash didn't have to go in at all. They can just literally hold the mid for that push back, and just as long as they can just get a couple more bolts now, they're going to get a level 10, and that's going to be really, really difficult for AAA to be able to defend in any way, really.
Wow, Trevor getting the shots in there, and this is a level 12 Siege bot. This is game over. There's no way they can defend against this, can they?
They can if they can get a couple of kills, if Tripper can go down here, but now the time has disappeared for that to happen, and we're going to see the damage going in. If you're going to defend something like that, you've got to get kills, you've got to get them early on, and then you've got to stagger your deaths to keep that invincibility going in a kind of rotated fashion. That was never going to happen there. You have a very small kind of like window of opportunity to achieve that, and yeah, Clash looking very strong in Siege already.
Funny thing is about Siege for me is that it's a game mode that I really don't enjoy playing at my sort of trophy level, because nobody I'm playing with has any sort of concept of strategy, and it's just sort of run in. But it's a game mode that I've really come to appreciate watching the top level players play, because it truly is fascinating how many different layers there are to this game, as we are jumping into game number 2. And Pam and Clash has run straight in, got the same bolt. Brock on AAA are going to bank the second one, so it's pretty tight this first time around. It looks like the first Siege bot is going to go to Clash though.
Yeah, a few changes as well, and Clash keeping their opposition on their toes again. Gonna get a level 3 this time with the breaking of the walls by Trevor again, giving that bot a nice smooth path. I think that Clash will put some damage, some pressure on, kind of earn their supers here, but I don't think they're going to go in too aggressively. They're just trying to get damage from a distance. It's far more important to regain that control. But look how much damage the bot did actually do, because it didn't seem to be like AAA really kind of supported the takedown of the bot. 39% is left now. That's
Yeah.
devastating for AAA.
Well, it's a two-pronged attack, wasn't it? It's like, yeah, let the bot go off and deal as much damage, support the bot, sort of, but the main goal for Clash was to keep control of the center of the map so that they can get the next siege bot, and looking at where we're at right now is 5 bolts to 2, 6 bolts to 2 now for Clash. 7 bolts to 2, that's going to be a level 7 siege bot, and if this goes as well as the last one, this is going to be game over for AAA.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is looking devastating for AAA right now, and so much control and pressure being applied by Clash as the damage just rains down there, getting that victory. Wow.
That's going to be the second set down for Clash. Sorry, Clash! I've been inconsistent with that.
Yeah, you forgot.
I got. But we're going to see potentially the final set. Every single match that we've watched today has been 3-0. Let's see if we can see AAA pull something out of the bag here.
Yeah, I did kind of expect a little bit more, to be honest, from AAA. They kind of did the Mortis pick that we saw earlier to kind of mix things up. And I think that is kind of a thing which they should be doing more with a Clash, is changing things. It worked out well for them when Clash were not expecting that team decision. And I feel like they're kind of going a little bit back on that and being a bit maybe too predictable now in that respect. But it's not over. It's just not looking great for them right now.
It's not looking great at all. Start of this game, not looking great either. Nice defense there in the center from Max, and Brock is able to take care of BB. So if they can take out this other Max, then things are looking fine for AAA at the moment. Although, look, the damage is going in at the top. Sneaky.
Yep, definitely. 50% damage at this point in the game. Not a bad place to find yourselves. And, you know, I think that Clash is showing really, really good signs of just control. And it's very difficult when you're under that kind of pressure to kind of like get that out of your head. Clash are very, very much so inside the heads of AAA right now, and not a great place to find yourself in Heist, because, you know, it's very difficult under pressure to defend. It's as simple as that. And that's what we're seeing. This absolute devastation. Wow.
All right.
That was over pretty quick.
Match point up next, Arc, and AAA have got a lot of work to do to take this one back. They're going to need to win 3 sets in a row and not drop a game in this first one. Let's see how they throw down as the game begins. And it all comes down to this for AAA. Could this be the end of their tournament life?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of pressure on their hands, and you know, Clash more than capable of showing that they can control a mirror comp scenario here. As look at this damage going down, just pretty much just giving a fair chance to get that damage raining down. That's a good start. That is a very good start. You can't deny that.
No, 61% already, or even Brock sneaking in that super, just getting that damage as fast as possible. If it does become a base race, then Clash have a sheer advantage, which means AAA have to play defensive so hard here, as the damage does start to come in from AAA. But it looks like this Brock Max, in fact, they're just going to run for it. They're going to run for the other safe.
Yeah.
They know they've got the advantage. They can do it.
Yeah, they're just going to literally just clobber it and rush it, and there's nothing really in terms of risk, and that is it. Clash, very, very strong in this competition. Wow.
Well, we thought that they were going to bring everything they could to this one, and they clearly did, although maybe they've got even more up their sleeves. We'll find out soon. Thank you so much to AAA for playing. It's such a shame that we didn't get to see more, and to be honest, is there anything they could have done? Like, are there any brawlers you would have liked to see them try out to see if they could upset Clash?
And they could have gone with something kind of risky, like a Shelly pick to kind of counter the Rosa, or something that was going to really shut down some of the controlling, more tankier options that we saw there. But, you know, it was always going to be a difficult battle for me. Clash have got so much experience in the competitive scene, competing on a much more, I would argue, regular basis than AAA. So it was always going to be a David versus Goliath scenario for me.
And in Siege, in that first map, we saw quite a similar lineup. We had Pam versus Pam in the mid lane. We had Brock versus Brock as well. So actually, there was quite a similarity sometimes in the compositions they were bringing. Why were Clash able to be successful, though, in those matches?
Clash.
I think
Sorry.
Go ahead, bro. No, you take it.
Clash are just one of these teams. They've been together for quite a long time. They've got the teamwork down. The communication is such a large part in Brawl Stars that differentiates different teams and different skills. Just slightly better accuracy here, slightly better teamwork there. It all adds up.
Well, let's find out how Sven added things up, because we're going to head over to what I'm now calling Analyst Bedroom. I'm working on it.
Thank you, Frankie. So Clash just showing how good they are again in that one. AAA from Russia did defeat Stars, a real big upset there, but this one was just too much to handle for AAA. Clash just coming off victorious and completely stomping on their opposition. So to break it down, in the first set, Deeper Danger, both teams ran the same composition. They went for the more generic comp of the Brock, Mr. P, Tick, which is a comp you see all the time. And Clash just completely outsmarting their opponents. Chaos is a really good Brock, and he completely dominated in the first game, just showing how good he is with Brock. And then a Brave Ring from AAA, they chose for counter comp. They went with the Mortis, and it worked out really well. Laulu completely dominating them games, showing how good of a Mortis he is. And then going on to the third game, Clash noticed that they needed to use the Rosa to get the control of the mid, and boy did they do that, because the whole game they had their whole grass in the middle just covered, and they completely dominated from start to finish, bringing off victorious in that one. And then moving into Siege Factory Rush, the open map as I said before, and Clash running with the generic comp of Pam, Brock, BB. So that's definitely the better comp, and they did completely outsmart their opponents. So that one, they lost the first Siege bot and then got control again for the last 2 rounds. So well played for Clash, they kept control and dominated on Siege. And then third set, Heist, Hot Potato. So in these ones, both teams went the same comp for both games, but Guille on that Brock and Chaos on that BB are just completely incredible, completely stealing a show. Guille was. He was going for the safe a lot of the times. It might not be the flashiest of plays, but you could just see him just avoiding their enemies and just going straight for the high safe with that incendiary style power, just getting so much damage on the safe. And Chaos on the BB is just incredible to see. He always outsmarts the enemy with the way he plays BB. So definitely big props to Clash. They completely dominated in them games. Definitely the team to look out for and be favourites for the whole tournament. Back over to you, Frankie.
Thank you very much, Sven. We'll hear from you after our second semi-final, which is going to be Germany's Wave versus Japan's Jupiter. And earlier on, we saw that Wave are so good at dominating the map, getting that space early, but Jupiter are fantastic at crowd controlling with their brawlers. So who do you think is going to have the edge with that in mind, Trid?
Oh, it's a tough call. I think that I gave the edge in this one over to Jupiter. I think that they might be able to pull away with this one based on what we've seen so far, because they've had increased levels of domination over their competition in comparison to Wave. That being said, I think this is probably looking like the closest matchup we're going to see at the tournament so far.
Ooh, Falcone, do you agree?
Yeah, entirely, actually. I mean, we've seen some amazing things from Wave, and I can't help myself. I'm looking at the Brawl Stars global leaderboards, and I've got to bring this up again. Jupiter are 3rd place globally. Well, joint 2nd place, actually, globally. They are the best performing team that we have in the M.E.O. in the Supercell circuit. So, I have to, just based on the pure stats, I have to give the edge to Jupiter. But I agree with Trid. These are both great teams. I cannot wait for this match.
Well, boys, we're not just collecting trophies here. There is money on the line. There's a worldwide reputation at stake, and that Red Bull M.E.O. Season 2 title. So let's get into the second semi-final and find out who is going to be joining Clash in the finals.
All right, let's do this. It's going to be Bounty to start this one up. Jackie from Jupiter does get that first star and let the mayhem begin. As Waves, Jackie runs in, does some damage and does get out of there with her life. But there is one elimination, so it doesn't look like Wave have got that tiny, tiny advantage at the moment.
It does mean that Jupiter picked up that first star as well, which in theory gives them the lead. But I think we spoke about it earlier in the broadcast, Falcone, that there's always that trade-off, right? You can only go for that star if you're safe, because you can see you end up in a situation like this where now you just have the rest of Wave is trying to defend.
What? Okay, Jackie Super into the score is 4-4, but Rosa caught between a Jackie and a Jean does mean that Wave get that early advantage. Rosa does walk straight into Jackie there, takes some damage, but is able to retreat. If Wave can play this one safe, it is possible that they can win without another single elimination happening this game.
And then Jackie's in position as well with that super, so you've got to keep an eye on that one. If he gets in and gets all three of them, it could be huge, but he only finds two.
Does only find two and doesn't manage to turn any of them into eliminations. Yes, he does. Takes out the other Jackie. That is 2 stars. Closing the gap a little bit, but Wave still find themselves 3 stars ahead. It looks like the whole of Jupiter are ready for another attack, though. Here they go! As Rosa uses the super, Jackie deals a lot of damage against the other Jackie, and with Poco's help, they do get an elimination. Rosa takes down Jean as well. The score is 12-12, and Jupiter have seen enough. They are retreating. They've closed the gap, and now they want to get their health back.
Yeah, with the score even, they don't need to go on the aggression anymore. They can try and hold it in the middle, but they're 15 seconds remaining, Falcone.
Jupiter managed to get 2 more eliminations, 3 more eliminations. That is a team wipe. 20-12, and Wave are still spawning. Jupiter are going to take the first game this set.
First map going in their way, and you could see how hard Jupiter were trying to make this work. They were waiting their time when they had to take the aggression to them, so they were going in sync with the supers online as well, so they're getting maximum value when they're trying to go on the offensive. And the second they equalized, they pulled it back and then made Wave fight on their terms.
Yeah, and that was one of the best games that we have had so far today, and I think hopefully that's a nice setup for this entire match that we've got to look forward to as map number 2 begins. As the Battle of the Jackies in the center there. It looks like Jupiter do get away with the first star. Jackie goes in, does manage to make it back with her life. Can Rosa do some damage there? Ooh, she gets pulled in by Jean and eliminated. It was too risky. It was too much of a big push. Maybe Poco and Jackie can get the damage in. Jackie does get 2 eliminations there. She's going to retreat, and now it's 5-5.
So that wasn't... So we had Jean going in there, and it wasn't exactly... he had a lot of impact just beyond the use of the magic hand there. The puffs that were coming out, healing his team, helping them all get up to health faster than their opponents, just by virtue of having that star power active, made the fight more favorable for Jupiter. As you can see, though, still equalization coming out from their opponents.
And now it gets really interesting because both teams are sort of going forwards, having a poke, retreating, letting the health get back, poking again. Although it does look like Wave are edging forwards, and Jackie with the super gets a lot of damage, and Rosa coming in to back her up. Gets pulled in by Jean. But can she take out Brock? Yes, she can, using her super as well. Jackie gets pulled in by the other Jackie, but thanks to Poco helping out, the Waves Jackie survives, and now they've got a 5-star advantage. With only 40 seconds left this game, they may have just turned the tide.
You need to get Jackie to burn that super in a way that you don't end up dying. If that happens, then Jean can come in and get the pull and find that 5-star target. If he does that when the super's still up, it could go horribly wrong for Jupiter.
Alright, 20 seconds left. 2 stars in it. 1 elimination would be enough. There goes the super as Rosa gets eliminated. It's 10-10. 10 seconds remaining. Somebody needs to get an elimination, or this is going to be a tie. But it doesn't look like any team is in the position to do it.
No, it's going to be walking away with a draw. Everyone disengaged. They'd rather not risk it. And so, they're going to pull themselves out of this one and make it so it is a draw. So, I believe we've still got another map to play in this one. Potentially a 4th map, depending on which way it goes.
Yeah, fascinating. I believe with a draw in Bounty, it's just going to be a regame. So here we go. As Jupiter's Jackie does get the start, does manage to make it back. Rosa gets eliminated as well, but Jackie chases down Jean. Now Jupiter's Jackie uses the super, but gets so low on health with only 26 health remaining. The score is 3-3. We're in that same position where both teams desperately need to find an elimination.
And with that Jackie super coming in, they weren't able to get the full extension or the full reposition because terrain was able to block. So it was great presence of mind from Nova King to get into that little cubby hole to stop himself being dragged too far away from the safety of his team. With the scores being equal, it's a good position here for Wave to take in the center of the grass so they can have that anonymity and make sure that they're being aggressed upon still while they hold all the cards.
But Brock and Gene are doing a fantastic job of hitting these shots with the range that Wave doesn't have access to. Jackie goes in, does manage to deal some damage, retreats, goes back in again, does take down Gene. That means that Wave are now in the lead and they just need to retreat. They need to get themselves into a safe position. They don't have the range that Jupiter does, so they just need to take advantage of those corners, take advantage of those bushes, and deal the close damage whenever they can.
Yeah, so but when people like the Brock come in here with the Rocket Rain, they're able to get rid of that cover and open up the sightlines to abuse that range advantage, as you so astutely noticed there, Falcone. And because of this, they've cleared the terrain and forced the rest of Wave to go back. 7-6 scoreline with 30 seconds remaining.
Oh, 1 star in it. Rosa's getting cornered on her own on the left side there. But it looks like Jackie and Poco are managing to take some of that aggro. Jupiter's Jackie and Brock coming around, but Rosa rejoins her teams. They just need to stay alive. Is that going to cut it? Maybe they are going to need to get an elimination here. This could literally go either way. Jupiter need to make one last big push. The pull happens. Rosa survives. No eliminations happen, and the score does finalize at 7-6 with Wave taking the first set this match.
I believe that was a...
Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, of course, the last game was a draw, right? So it's 1-1, isn't it?
Yeah, 1 apiece.
Oh,
like I said, we're going to get a map 4 out of this one.
What
well,
a set.
effectively a map 4.
All right.
Going to jumping into that 4th map now, Falcone. And adaptation coming in. I think that's a Poco on the side of Wave, and there's no adaptations for the side of Jupiter.
Okay, all right, interesting. So, yeah, okay. So the first elimination does go to Wave. Wave are looking pretty good right now. A lot of work for Jupiter to take this one back, and now this is important. One more loss from Jupiter will mean that all of that hard work, winning that first game this set, does go to waste. They're going to need to push.
Right to center with that super, pulls them all together, but they're not going to find what they want here. Good reaction coming in from Nova King to go on the response. So sitting on 10 stars total for the side of Wave as they take the fight in the most dominant start to a bounty we've seen in this entire series.
Yeah, Rosa does get eliminated on Wave's side, unfortunately, but they do have a 5-star lead, and again, they can afford to just chill, relax, and sit at the back of the map now. And yeah, it does look like they are going to make Jupiter come to them. Again, they don't quite have the same range that Jupiter does, but Rosa goes in there now with the super. Jackie and Poco, all of them are in the thick of it, and it's paying off. They've managed to corner Jupiter's Rosa on her own, and now the score is 17-5.
And it's a great presence of mind from Nova King there to activate the super, pull the Rosa away from the squishier target that is your Poco, and make sure that he is safe and doesn't have to burn his own healing super, which he's able to keep hold of right now. Skyrix then reinvigorates his team so they're able to go into the fight and make sure they do not lose any of these precious stars.
This is absurd. 17-9, and Rosa is dominating Gene and Jackie there. Takes out the Gene, tries to follow it with the Jackie, but decides it's just not worth it. But 22-9, Wave's Jackie doesn't care. She's going in there. She gets eliminated. It doesn't matter. Now,